going to do a few more asana that are great for the hips, little hip opening, and this one will be a tutorial on goddess pose. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Paul to take a nice wide stance on his mat. Okay. Excuse me. Toes are pointed towards the corner of the mat. Good. Take your arms out to a T just for a second so we can see your alignment here. Good. Good. So the feet, the toes are just about underneath his wrist, which is great. Goddess is one that the variation of the width of the stance can differ a lot. So if your students need to be a little narrower, that's absolutely fine. If they are strong and have good range of motion, out nice and wide is great. Why don't you bring your hands down to your hips just as we talk about the lower body so I don't exhaust you, okay? Okay. So for goddess pose, we're going to start again from the ground and build our way up. So I'm going to remind Paul to press into all four corners of his feet. There's a tendency to want to roll the feet inward here, so I'll remind him to lift his arches, think about sealing the outside edge of his back foot off, both feet off. And then go ahead and bend into your knees. Okay. Something that happens, which is happening to Paul a little bit, is his knees are falling inward. So think about bringing your knees towards the pinky toe side of your feet. So this is going to open him up a little bit more. There'll be a little bit of the external rotation that comes into his thighs. And again, there's a wide variety that you'll see as far as how deeply they can get into this. Can you think a little bit deeper, or how does that feel? Okay. And another clue you can give here is bring your knee towards me. Yeah, good. And think a little bit deeper. Okay. Excellent. Good. Excellent. I'm going to have you come out of it for a moment, and then we're going to turn the other way so we can see what's going on in the upper body. Oh, no, to the side. I'm sorry. To the side. Stand nice and wide. Okay, and then come into your goddess stance again. Good. Okay. So in the goddess stance, we want to think Tadasana in the upper body. So things that we'll see, you guys know this, we'll see too much of a curve come into the lumbar spine quite often. So how do we remedy that? I'll ask Paul to drop his tail, and I'll ask him to think about drawing his low belly in a bit. Yeah, so he's great here. Another thing that might happen is your students might lean forward. Yeah, so think about leaning forward. And if that happens, I'll bring my hand right to the center of his back and say, press back towards my hand. Yeah, good. Lift up through the crown of your head. And once you get to this part of the practice, I'm hoping that they have a firm understanding of what Tadasana is. So you can even say, find Tadasana in your upper body. Shoulders are soft. Okay. Bring your arms out to a T. Good. Bend into your elbow so that your fingertips are pointing up towards the sky. Yeah, goddess arms. So bend into your elbows, fingertips. Yeah, there he is. And then spread your fingers nice and wide. Yeah. Okay, she's a gorgeous goddess. Okay, come on out and let's show it to them in the front view. Okay. So here we go. He's finding his foundation, sinking down. Arms come out to a T. Then the elbows bend. Fingers are spread nice and wide. And he's finding a hand variation. So you can be here. Turn them face on. Right, and you can think about opening here. Okay. And are you breathing? That's always your question. Are you breathing? We look at the two-headed monster. Okay, come on out. Okay, malasana, otherwise known as squat. Turn to face the side so they can see your profile, Paul. I'm actually wondering if forward-facing is better to start. Yeah, let's come to forward-facing just quickly. So in malasana, you're going to have your students start in a traditional are lined up towards the front edge of the mat, you'll have them take their feet and dial their toes out so they're pointed towards the top corners of the mat. So dial your toes out just a little bit, Paul. Okay. Excellent. From here, we're bending into the knees and sinking down deep. Okay. You'll notice that the upper body will want to come forward just a little bit, and that's okay. Hands come to heart center. Press your hands together. Hold your belly strong. Good. Malasana. Paul does does this wonderfully. He has nice loose hips quite often, and I'm going to show you this on my body. Students will come in and they can't get their heels quite down. Okay? You'll take a blanket and put it underneath their heels for them, such a fine support, because this is a beautiful grounding pose. You want them to feel secure in it. If they're struggling, their calves are tight, they can't get their heels down, that's okay. Give them the support of a blanket, or if there's a big challenge, it could even be a skinny block. Okay. Why don't you come out for a sec? And I wanted to show you something else with this. Do I want to show them something else? I think that's it. Okay, so there you go, malasana. Left leg comes up, left knee towards left wrist, left ankle towards right wrist. Yeah. Settling down, scooching the back foot back to give yourself a little more room as you settle down. Good. So students go into it nice and slow. Okay. Now if you have somebody who's really tight, I'm going to have him hold up here for a second. They might want a block or a blanket underneath the hip of the forward leg. So here I have one tucked under Paul's left hip. So does that feel like it's giving you some support there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He doesn't really need it. I know that I need it in my body. Okay. Now go ahead and walk your hands forward. Good, and rest down. We want to invite our students to experience sensations as they're here, to be mindful of the difference between discomfort and pain. If there's ever any pain, we don't want that. We want them to come on out. But if there's a mild discomfort, that thought that, oh, this is doing my body good, let them stay, let them rest in it. Invite them to draw the breath towards that area of tightness. And it looks like he's going to fall asleep here. He likes this one. So again, there's engagement in the feet. We warn our students before we go into pigeon that if there's any knee issues, to do supine figure 4 instead. Works the same group of muscles.